Here we are with another Dailies video. The one for Genshin seemed to do fairly well. It seemed only right to do one for Honkai Star Rail as well. The only downside of Honkai Star Rail is its dailies are significantly quicker than Genshin's, which actually, now that I'm saying that, isn't actually a bad thing. It just means there's going to be less to talk about. But anyway, let us make a start. It's a new week. Everything's reset. What do we do? Well, first of all, let's get the quick and simple stuff out of the way. We've got assignments. Quick, easy, you should be doing these every day because in this early stage of the game, you're always going to need more of this stuff. The game has not been out long enough to get any kind of backlog of items. The way I do assignments is I go for things that I'm slowly running out of or don't have at a same sort of level. So for instance, this stuff, I only have about 200 because Jingwan has just absorbed all of them. This one is slowly going, and the rest of them I think are around 1,000. Yeah, so I need them a lot less than these two. So we'll claim this for today, dispatch again. Same as this one. Obviously you have synthesis materials. I'll be honest, I don't make any consumables in the game unless it's a daily expectation, in which case I don't see the point of really acquiring any of these. I did for the first few days, got enough. For the most part, you don't really need them. I would recommend going for these because right now it is really hard to get the character experience. It is not easy getting enough of these experience books and these. So I would recommend 2 of these as well. This one most definitely. And then light cones, I'll be honest, I just want more of a backlog of these. Money comes and goes. This at the minute I need more of. Obviously with assignments, you want to pick whoever gets you the most in bonuses. So right, that is assignments done. Assignments are very quick and simple. They take like 20 seconds to do. It's lovely. Obviously we have special events to do if we need to. There is one currently going, but it's completed and it's going to load up a web browser. And I don't really feel like loading up a web browser. But yeah, if there's special events going, you might as well do them for that little bit extra. Obviously we have this bad boy. We have the battle pass. For the most part, just like in Genshin, I said the same thing in the Genshin one, you don't really need to actively do anything on the battle pass. As long as you're doing your dailies every day, for the most part, you're going to get to 50 without much hassle. And I haven't even finished, like I've not even done 15 stars yet for Forgotten Halls, and then this event isn't even over yet. By the time the event is over, this will be done. I won't need to worry about getting to level 50 because I'll already be at level 50. So obviously make sure you're always doing Nameless Honor whenever the symbol shows up. With all that done, we've got the events as well. So for instance, as of right now, we've got Lab Assistance, which by the way, if you haven't done, really need to do. Although by the time I upload this, I think it will be done. Make sure you're doing your events every single day. I think I'm like a day or 2 behind on Stellar Flare. You always need to do your events, otherwise you're going to miss out and then you're not going to have a great time. Plus, you're always going to need more of this stuff. Events are done, assignments are done, we've cashed in on some things. All that is left are the 2 most important part of your dailies in the first place. If there's only 2 things that you do every single day in Honkai Star Rail, it is these 2 things. First up is your actual daily training bar. Now, this will randomly change every single day to be slightly different. The only thing that will always be there is complete 1 daily mission. Now, you don't technically need to do the daily mission. You can just do, let's say, we obtain a victory with a support character, and then we use 2 techniques, and then synthesize, and then complete a Calyx in Crimson form. But none of these get you money by doing them, other than this one. And yes, it is only 5 grand. It is 5,000 credits. It's not really worth a lot. And for the most part, it's a little bit more long-winded to do. You get a little bit of cash, which, you know, it does add up. And for the most part, the daily missions are fairly quick and simple to get through. They're not too much of a hassle. And a lot of the time, they're less work than doing something like, oh, enter battle 3 times by weakness breaking a person. Like you have to go and find someone to weakness break, then you have to get the corresponding weakness, and You can just do this and you just follow the waypoint. But for the most part, I'd recommend doing these ones because a little bit of extra cash is nice. Plus, they're very easy and simple to do and they don't require too much sort of nuance to get and finish. So that's 200 points done. If you want to just skip doing the daily mission, you can. There's nothing to say that you have to do it. It's not like daily commissions. You're not required to do it at all. As long as you get to 500, you're done. Next up, we can either do enter combat by attacking enemies' weaknesses, which only gets you 3 times, or we can obtain victory with a support character. So what I'm going to do, because this nets me 200 points, which is way faster. I think this is, no, this isn't Crimson. That's fine. What we'll do is we will get rid of Bailu, we will grab a support character, we will use my friend Marcus because he has Silver Wolf and I don't, and then we're just going to let it play out. And that's done. So we've obtained victory with one of them. Now we can use 2 techniques or synthesize a consumable. I like synthesizing, it's very quick and painless. There we go, all done. That's done. That is daily commissions done and out of the way. I wish Genshin's was like this. It's so much faster. You can pretty much do your dailies in Star Rail in like 10 minutes if you're rushing for stuff. It's fantastic. So there we are. That's that done and dusted. And because there's no friendship ranks in this game, you don't have to worry about what team you're using. Again, unlike Genshin Impact. I complain about Genshin Impact's dailies all the time, and I will until the end of time, because Star Rails has just done them so much better. But anyway, last but not least, we have Resin, or Trailblaze power. I'm going to call it Resin because I'm conditioned to do so. Now, there are a couple of things you need to do with your Resin. If we are pretending it is the start of a new week, this is at 0. These bad boys are 3 out of 3. I would always recommend doing Echo of War first, because you only have 3 attempts to do these currently. I don't know if they'll increase it. We only have 2 to pick and choose from. You have to do Echo of War. There is no reason you shouldn't be doing it. We get 3 attempts a week, 3 successful attempts, I say. Has to be done. I don't care what you're farming for. I don't care who you're farming for. Do this every single week. Do it every Monday so it's done and you don't have to worry about it. How I would recommend doing it is I tend to look at which number is the lowest. So when Monday comes around, which is tomorrow, which is probably when this might come up if I edit it correctly, is I will do whichever one is the lowest, which is this one. So I will do this one and then it will increase by like 3 or 4. I can't remember what it is at my level now. Then that will be a higher level. So then I'll go and do this one. And then if this one becomes a higher level, I will go and do this one. Or if they're even, I'll probably just do whichever one I'm currently on. Always make sure you are topping these up every single week, because thankfully we are so early in the game where you can probably upgrade every single character that we currently have access to, and you'd probably still have some of these left over, which is great. But the further the game goes on and the more characters they add, the less likely that is going to become a possibility. So make sure you're doing this every week so you always have some kind of surplus, even if you don't currently need it. It is always good to have a surplus of stuff that you cannot get more than a couple of times a week. So make sure you're always doing Echo of War. And then last but not least, we have the simulated universe, which thankfully you don't have to do on a daily basis. I tend to just do it the day it resets just because it's nice and simple. Make sure you get to maximum score by the end of the week. This is less a daily and more a weekly, but I'm combining it in because you might have to do it in one day. It's up to you. Make sure this always hits 0. Why? Because we get these, which are literally just free pulls for pieces, relics. I can't remember the name of them. We get free money. We get free wishes. We get free enhancement materials for relics. We get free money. We get a free Herta bond, which is fantastic because you can get free light cones. And then last but not least, we have one of these bad boys. They're essentially this game's version of crowns. You're always going to need them. Make sure you're getting them every single week. What's great about Simulated Universe is that it doesn't cost any resin. It only costs resin to pull these bad boys. And ultimately, you don't have to pull them if you don't want to. What's great about this one is that you are under no obligation to spend any of your resin. You can just do it, get the points and dip. You don't have to spend any resin if you don't want to. And it doesn't even matter if you get to the end. There is no added benefit between losing at stage 11 or 13 or stage 4 or 5. The only difference there will be is your score will be slightly worse. You'll get slightly less stuff. And you'll get slightly less ability tree points. It does not matter what stage you lose in a world, because unless you want the items, it just does not matter in the slightest. And even if you're losing to the boss, you can still just go back in and then pull at stages 4, 8 and whatever. So there's no net loss when doing Simulated Universe. But make sure you're getting max score, because you are missing out on so much if you're not. So make sure you do that. Now, I can't remember if I said, but this is obviously pretty obvious to anyone that's played the game for more than 20 minutes. Before you 100% are finished with the game for the day, make sure your resin is not capped out, because how much experience and items you lose whenever your resin is maxed is absolutely insane. Once you're maxed out and everyone is at a point where you're happy, maxing out your resin isn't as big a deal. For instance, I've been level 60 in Genshin for I don't know how long at this point, and I max out all the time because I'm just not that fussed about how much I'm missing anymore. In Star Rail, however, the second I get to 180, I'm thinking how much experience I've lost on the side, because I've not given it the chance to recharge anymore. So yeah, resin, obviously a big one. It doesn't matter what you spend, well, it does matter what you spend it on, but it doesn't matter what you personally like to spend it on. If you're currently grinding out experience books, that's fine. If you're grinding out character enhancement materials to get someone to level 70, level 80, to upgrade their light cone or whatever, do it. Or if you're farming for relics, it's all up to you. But just make sure that you are using your resin before it caps every single day. I tend to log in twice a day, I think, to make sure my resin doesn't cap. I usually log in the morning, and I'm usually around like 140, I think. And then at some point in the evening, I'll play the game again, and my resin's sort of around 90 to 100. As long as it doesn't get to 180 at some point during the day, it's fine. We're all good to go. There's nothing to worry about. But yeah, resin, obviously massive part of the game, especially in the early game, because the more resin you spend, the higher level you'll become. As you can see here, Trailblaze experience, you get 50 for every 10 resin you spend, or Trailblaze power. So yeah, whenever you're stepping away from Star Rail for the day, make sure this number isn't too close to 180 if you can avoid it. Even if you have to spend it on stupid stuff like just getting money, do it, because at this point in the game, the quicker you can get to, I think it's level 45 or level 40 for guaranteed 5-star relics is very important. And then level 60 for level 80 characters is also very important, at least in my humble opinion. But yeah, that's about all I really have to say when it comes to Star Rail dailies. They're very quick and simple compared to other titles. Like in this game, you pretty much just need to do assignments, Trailblaze power, dailies, events, and then whatever battle pass stuff that you've got cropped up. And then pretty much that's all there is to it. There's very little else that you need to worry about. So thankfully the dailies in Star Rail is delightfully short and doesn't take a massive time out of your day. And the great part about Star Rail is that because it just has an auto button, with it being a turn-based RPG, you can just auto almost all of your battles that you need to. It's fantastic, it requires so much less effort to do, and it makes the dailies so much less tiresome to do. And it avoids burnout, which I'm a big proponent for. But alas, that is about all I have to say on the matter. Unfortunately, it couldn't be particularly detailed because there just isn't a lot to do with dailies, both thankfully and not thankfully, depending on your view of things. But yeah, hopefully that makes things a little bit easier. for anyone that's just started out and isn't 100% sure on what they should be doing each week, or at the very least each day. So hopefully that's lended a hand to someone out there. But anyway, I've come to the end. So thank you for those that stuck around to the end. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. And until next time, I've been James, the Mayor of Jamestown. Goodbye.